you wouldn't like do it like Phil had a routine that he was doing. Like Phil actually started doing stand-up because of, you know, wanting to entertain the audience. So he had a bunch of bits that he would do, like Clinton impressions, and they were really good. And it was like, I was like, holy shit, dude, you're like a real comic. Like, you're a stand-up. He's like, I've been thinking about doing it. Maybe I should just get up there. Phil was like this really unusual human being. Very, very fascinating guy.
Yeah.
You know?
He was he was like a great hobbyist.
Yeah, he would go so deep. He got into flying, and which is actually how I found out about this neighborhood. You know, Phil was taking me out into the valley, looking for, you know, different places where you could, you know, go and have a nice view. You know, we went up in his little single-engine plane. But I remember when he first started getting into the flying. Boy, he was reading book after book. Like in between rehearsals, he'd be studying his pilot's book. Like the dude was
up in the little fake broadcast booth.
Yeah, he was very, very disciplined.
Wow,
like he would.
Well, I always said Phil was like a big league version of Mark McKinney from Kids in the Hall. Because Mark McKinney was really into his flight simulator, you know, whereas Phil learned to fly a plane.
Yeah.
It was like, you know.
He loved it. He learned to fly a plane. He learned to sail a boat. You know, he was one of those guys, you know.
Yeah.
He's
if only he had learned to duck.
Yeah, well, not even if you had learned to just separate from fucking crazy people. I
know.
Had some, we all did, I think, had talks with him many times about divorce. You know, like, you got to get out of that, man.
Yeah.
It was one of those things where we would have these parties. I mean, Paul had one party once, and I remember we were all at this bar somewhere, and Phil showed up with the wife, and she just was saying the creepiest shit and insulting him, and, you know, talking about how she likes pickup trucks because they remind her of, you know, boys that she used to bang back when she was younger, and just torturing him. Just torture him, talking about, oh, well, you're not Phil. You know, Phil's too old. And just
but didn't he have, like, women thrown on him all the time? It seems like if he was that miserable that he would have just...
Doesn't matter, man. When you have children with somebody, you're inexorably attached forever.
And Phil was, the thought of being separated from his kids, which, and I understand because at the time I was separated from my kids.
Yeah. Yeah, I completely see where he was coming from. He didn't want a divorce. He thought his wife, with all her flaws, was still very good to the kids, and, you know, and he felt like he could work it out. And then he really got into pot. You know, that was his thing. He would just get blazed.
Yeah, I was like, he'd be sitting in his Mercedes in his parking space with his one hitter.
Yeah, baked to the gills.
Getting stoned, and you weren't smoking weed at the time. Can you imagine smoking weed with Phil Hartman?
Yeah,
you barely.
I
didn't do anything.
any drugs.
I would just get drunk. That's all I would do.